Let's do this. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Eric Sanchez. Welcome to the Vagina Doctor Podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys inviting me. This is very exciting.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time.
I hope that's a good thing.
No, it's a really good thing for me.
Okay.
And we'll get into it because I'm fascinated by what you're doing and want audience, listeners, watchers to learn about it, know about it, and see the great direction that you're going in with this. And I bet basically you have a software company.
Yes.
And I think if you can start from there, you founded it, you run it.
For sure.
And you're developing it and the connection with Vagina Doctor is that you're doing this in conjunction or really focusing on women.
Yes.
As you're doing this, is that fair?
Yeah. X2L Bio is the company. X2L is an abbreviation for Actionable Insights to Longevity. So in other words, yes, we do VO2 assessments. That's our service. But then once you get a number, what do you do with it? It's great to get the number, but it's like, now what?
That's with a lot of things too, by the way.
Honestly,
right?
it really is.
It's like, now what?
Yeah. And so I started the journey 3.5 years ago. I'll give you a quick rundown.
Sure.
I was recruited by a Dutch company, and one of the co-founders are in The Hague, the Netherlands. That's the engineering team. Then one of their colleagues / co-founders was recruited to Duke University. And Duke at that time was starting to develop this whole sports fitness kind of program that they were trying to do. They wanted to really integrate the Duke Health, the hospital part, along with the university and their sports teams. So they were similar to USC where they have a hospital and a university and they work in a Venn diagram. Yeah. So Duke has the same program. The reason they recruited him is because he has 25 plus years working in sports tech, and he's actually a specialist in VO2 Max. So when he moved to Raleigh to work with Duke, they obviously have the traditional VO2 Max assessment, which is a cardiopulmonary exercise training machine. So it's a treadmill or a bike with all the EKGs and the whole thing. What in pictures, the mask on your face, and you do and the traditional model is they run you until you break.
It's really unpleasant.
People that do it are just like, I'm not doing that again because it's not. So he came back and he's like, why are we still doing this? It's great. Yes, but the truth is it's so limiting. You limit it to such a small segment of the population.
Because it hasn't been accessible?
It's just there. It's the things in this country, like it works. It's there. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So he's just like, look, we have wearable technology now. It's amazing. So he finally convinced the university, and through the partnership that he had in Netherlands, Splendo is the name of the company, through that partnership, he's like, why don't we do a test? We do the model that exists. I've got 3 devices that I want to use, Bluetooth devices. One's a mask, another one's polar heart rate monitor, and a separate one is a sensor that measures oxygen. And they're like, yeah, let's give it a shot. Why not? We are a research institute at the end of the day. So during that similar process, they reached out to me and through mutual friends, and they're like, hey, we're going to figure out if we can take this to market, because this could work where we can pretty much shift the whole paradigm of how you do a very complicated assessment. VO2 Max is extremely complicated. The science behind it is very complicated. But how can we make it simple and accessible? So we did. We went on a tour.
And not scary.
And not scary.
Because for me, it's scary. I've never done one.
Yes. And that's actually, that's a great point. So we went on a 2.5-year journey of introducing it across the country. So what we did is we took these devices, metabolic cart, it's a mask, Bluetooth, the polar heart rate monitor, and it was 6-minute incremental step test. So you literally, depending on your capabilities, we have a metronome with it. So you can start off slow, and then you can go to the medium, and then you can go where you're actually running in place. But through that whole process, we proved that it can be done in just a room like this. You can't use that. It's about 70% accurate, but when it comes to technology, that's high. Mm-hmm. Anything over 40, 50% technology is pretty good. And the closer you get to the 80, 90, nothing in a wearable device is ever going to be 100%. That's just impossible. With the traditional model, everything's so tethered, so you can get more accurate data, but it's so complicated with the treadmills and what have you.
Yeah, that's the problem with wearables. Yeah.
But they're getting so much better. They're really doing really great. And it's only going to get better. And honestly, AI is going to make them even better now that you can start implementing. So we'll get into that conversation. But we went on a 2.5-year journey. We traveled the country, met with specialists, pulmonary specialists, doctors, everybody, coaches, to the small little gym here in Santa Barbara. Like we were introducing it because I wanted to get feedback. Like, is this something that people would want? So the common denominator was, I heard of VO2, but I have no idea what it is, which is still the case, by the way.
Yeah.
And great that I get the number, but what does that mean? And what do I do with it? Which is still the case. So long story short, they were trying to get funding, but they wanted to keep all the IP in the Netherlands. That's just not going to happen with American investors. They're going to be like, yeah, that's not going to happen. So I left the company in February of last year. And that was the only reason they didn't get funding, because they wanted to keep all the IP in the Netherlands. And American investors were like, yeah, no, we got to keep it here to protect our money. It didn't happen. So I left the company in February of last year. In March, my friends in Vegas called me and they're like, hey, are you still doing that whole, because I'm a serial entrepreneur, so a lot of it I've been doing in software development, SaaS models. And then I got into wearables about 9 years ago. I have 2 patents. I'm a co-author on 2 patents for some technology that we built. And then got into the biotech scene as well. So I was like, okay, this is cool. So they called me, they're like, hey, are you still doing that VO2 thing? I said, no, I had to leave the company because they just didn't get funding. I got to move on. And I was dreading, I'm going to have to get a real job and put on a suit or something. And then they're like, you should really just start your own company, do the same thing, help us here in Vegas, because we're about to have all the leagues in Vegas, all the sports leagues within the next 3 to 5 years. What we don't have in Vegas is a sports tech ecosystem because we've never needed it. I was like, actually, that's a good point. So I did. I launched X2L literally on a whim, set it up. We're a Las Vegas-based company, technically, although I live here in Santa Barbara. And what we did is they actually walked me into the door with all the major league teams there. I introduced the model.
Fun.
Yeah, it's actually been really fun. And build amazing relationships. But Vegas is a very small town. It is a very small town. It's definitely one of those where you have to know the right people and you have to earn their trust. So I've been traveling to Vegas for the last 15 months. I spend 1 week a month there. And it's not cheap, as you can appreciate. And that's really just to build trust with the community. Yeah. So finally, fast forward to now, I've earned that trust. And everyone's, and I'm like, yeah, but it hasn't been easy. Like, people look at you like, who is this city slicker guy? We are a small town. And Vegas only has 2 cities, let's face it. You got Reno and Vegas, and then everything else around it. So I finally I earned my stripes. I built some trust with the community. And now things are really moving. So we're actually this Thursday, the 18th of September, we're hosting a big event. So I got ahead of myself. So as I've been was introducing VO2 Max to the community, the same questions pop up. What is it? I see it on my Whoop or Oura Ring app or my Garmin app. I'm assuming this is my number. I realized, okay, there's a whole education process that has to happen now because it's a thing. People talk about it. Dr. Peter T has been amazing at his podcasts and his books and what have you. And now Whoop, Garmin, and Oura are really promoting, hey, VO2, we give you your VO2 number. And I was like, okay, great, but nobody knows what it is or how does it work or why you need it at the end of the day. And when it's all said and done, to keep it simple, it is the best biomarker to help you live a healthier, longer life.
Absolutely.
That's the simplest way to put it.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it, it just measures how you breathe.
Right.
I mean, that's really it, as you can appreciate.
No blood tests, no
medications, no supplements, nothing. It's just how do you breathe and how can you breathe better under stress over a long period of time. And stress could be exercise. It could be any type of stress. At the end of the day, you need to stress your body out. Measure how you're breathing under that stress so this way you can actually know how to compensate and properly breathe when you come across that stress again. And if you can increase the stress, which is exercise, if you can run faster or lift more weights or meditate better and breathe better, your body gets stronger. It's like the most amazing, powerful tool. And I was just like, why is it so complicated to get this? It shouldn't be that complicated to get this biomarker, to get a measurement. And what's funny is you realize that people don't know how to breathe.
And it's different too for someone like if you're working with sports teams. So you have high performance athletes, right?
Yeah.
What would they be doing with the result of that test? And would they be retesting fairly regularly?
That's a great question. So first of all, I'll answer it, then I'll put a pin to it as well in the sense that For an athlete, their physique is their tool. That's how they make their money, whether it's faster, quicker, stronger, whatever the sport is, a combination of everything. So for them, they are a business. So they have to take care of their physical fitness and their mind as well to be a LeBron James or whatever you want to be at the top elite level. Kobe Bryant was infamous for just how he took care of his body, really, to become. Michael Jordan was in all these top people that you think of. But what I realized is VO2 has been pigeonholed into everybody thinks, oh, an athlete. I'm like, yeah, because that's how they make their money. But I'm 55. I want to be, honestly, my vanity, like I want to be 75 and cut and be able to run and look awesome at 75. And if God willing, I get grandkids because I have 2 daughters. I want to be able to pick them up and compete against my grandkids. That's really my vain mindset of why I want to take care of myself as I get older, because I want to be that 75-year-old guy that everyone's, holy crap, what does he do? And be like, yeah, all I did was learn how to breathe and take care of myself, and diet, nutrition. That's all part of it. Don't get me wrong. But that's what VO2 is. It's for the average person. Honestly, it's for anyone's getting older that wants to stay healthy.
Yeah. It's remarkable because it's a number. It's reproducible.
Yes.
It's improvable for most of us if we try to.
Yes.
And it has been, as you've said, as strong evidence now, irrefutable evidence that's associated with health span or a healthy, longer life. The difficulty has been that sort of lack of interest in getting a number, the pain of doing the test.
The traditional model.
The traditional model. And that it hasn't been really pushed by any of the trainers and that type of thing. You go to the gym, most people have not done one of those. Karen hasn't done one. I've done one 2 or 3 times.
I'm really nervous to do one. I've done like a stress test before.
Yes, so this is a step up, I guess is the best way to put it.
Because you have they're doing more monitoring, more information.
And they're pushing you harder.
Yeah, a little bit harder. We've modified it to, because we need to take that stigma out of it.
And how many minutes is it?
6 minutes incremental. So we start you off with a slow walk. Then depending on your capabilities, ideally you want to end up at the last 2 minutes jogging in place, like a good jog in place, nothing complicated. And that's what we've proven. The study that started with Duke, it got finally published last year using the 6 incremental step test. So we're using the same one because that's what we were doing for 2 years. So you're just walking in place or jogging in place, depending on your capability. We like to set it up. We're using all 4 extremities because they're like pumps.
That
you can
makes
appreciate
sense.
that. Yeah, all 4 extremities. You're not just sitting there. And it will improve. Right now, the model we're using is an introductory model, just so we can have a safe way to introduce it to the community, educate the community, because we can scale this on multiple levels. Once the general public really understands, oh, this is awesome. I can go to my gym and get this now, and I can use that as a tool to live a healthier, longer life. That's awesome. We're starting with gyms and fitness groups and teams because that's just, you have a population that's already looking to get healthy. So with a fitness facility, for example. But what's more important is the fact that we can use that box, I call it these, whether it's a team, what have you, to get masses and educate masses initially to set it all up. And more importantly, once people learn how to use their VO2, they can actually use the gym better. So they're not doing the treadmill every single day. They're not lifting weights every single day. They're not using the bike every single day. They start learning how to balance. Oh, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do that next day. I'm going to take a rest day.
Yeah.
I'm going to do meditation this day. I'm going to learn breathing exercises this day. Those are the things you learn through your VO2 because you learn to understand your body and what you want to do with it. I don't want to be like a muscle guy. I just don't want to be. That's not who I want to be. But I want to be fit and strong.
You want to have cardiovascular endurance.
Yeah.
Can someone do the VO2 in an open air setting, like on the bike path? Or
that's what the Whoops, the Garmins, and Ours are trying to do, because you do need enclosed environment. It just makes it easier to get the recordings better.
Yeah.
Initially, right now, as we move forward with wearables and things like that, I think it's a TBD. Yeah. But when it's all said and done, what limits the Aura, the Whoop, and the Garmin so much is the fact that they can't properly record ventilation. That's where you need the mask. So you need to record.
And that's not set up to do out of a gym or whatever.
Not at the moment. I think
Controlled environment.
Yeah, the moment, no. And because, to be honest, you don't want to throw a product out there that like you wouldn't know how to use or you wouldn't know how to use.
Yeah.
You just put it on there, then you're like, what does this mean? So we're introducing the format through the mask, and then we can help you understand what it means and go from there.
Yeah. I see this as just becoming a routine, perhaps annual evaluation.
Actually, 4 times a year would be ideal.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's preventive care.
Yes. Absolutely.
It really is preventive care. Yeah.
One question. What is how much quicker is it to do this than the standard at this point?
So the standard, first of all, you have to find a lab. Like fortunately, Santa Barbara, we do have a place that has a lab down the Funk Zone. It takes, once you set up the appointment, get there anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours, depending on what you're looking to do.
Right.
So that's an hour and a half to 3 hours in the process. And usually with most labs, they give you like this report and it's thank you very much. And you're like, okay, that's a lot of numbers. And there's really no
one goes over it with you.
And what's next? What do I do? Some facilities, they use that as a hook. So they're like, hey, here's your VO2, by the way. Here's our whole system, and we can help you improve that.
Right.
And then they bring you into buying a package, what have you, which is fine. That's at the end of the day, that's fine. Our method is 30 minutes. By the time you get there, if you were here, set you up, put everything up, get everything going, do the 6-minute set test. You'll ask questions. The entire process takes 30 minutes.
And you could do it in a room this size.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
then
literally do they get their results right then and there?
I pull up a little PDF. We go over it. The report is really our value add. We're simplifying the report constantly just to be like, hey, this is your VO2 for your age, height, and weight. This is the marker you should be at. This is where you are realistically. And most people are like, oh, I'm out of shape. Yeah, that's a great thing because now this is what you should do to get into shape. And then we give you a thing. And you know what? Next month, let's do another assessment because you should know within a month and you do another 30 minutes. So for 30 minutes a month, you can really improve your health if you want to. And again, preventive care, you actually start doing the things eventually over time that'll limit. So what I tell people is it's not that you're going to start restricting. Look, I love to eat everything. I really do. I have a big sweet tooth, and I really do. I love my beer. Me too. I eat everything. I've just learned to moderate it.
Yeah.
I've learned to take days off where I don't drink anything. I cleanse my body. I've just had to learn how to take care of me for me.
What works for you?
And then be the same thing for you.
And okay, so with that in mind and the FemTech, the testing, who says what? This number is where you should be if you're a man. This number is where you should be for a menopausal woman. This number is where you should be. Is there that type of structure?
No, and that's why we decided to build a FemTech division. Because I've looked at the last 30 years of research and I realized the common denominator is it is limited to certain zip codes. And those zip codes are where they have a system. They can do this. That's number one. Again, it's not bad. It's not, but those machines, the ones that they're like $150,000 and you need trained technicians and then you need annual upkeep. So you need to have the funds to have that machinery in place. That's the biggest thing. What I realize in academia is there are so many legal issues that they have to limit the study to. If I had, for example, Duke, we studied a few men on the basketball team when I was there and a few women on the soccer team, and then compared it to the heart failure patients on the healthcare side. But I was like, why don't you get the average population to do the test on the university? And they're like, oh, we can't. All right, legally, we have to make it a study, some kind of IRB, and then we can only use students and they have to volunteer. So I was like, oh, has that been always the case? They're like, yeah. So if you look at the 30 plus years of VO2 data that exists, it's really small.
I bet, yeah.
I was like, I'm a 50, at the time was 52-year-old Latino man. I'm relatively healthy. Where am I in that? They're like,
Yeah.
no, but because I'm not a 19-year-old basketball player, African-American basketball player,
athlete
or
that's
athlete, let
trained.
alone
Yeah.
an athlete. And I'm not a female soccer player. So how do I fit? And they're like, that's just how it is. I was like, oh, okay. And that's really what motivated me to be like, oh no, this should be accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
And then I look back, being a girl dad, to your point, I was like, okay, where's the female here? Like, what the average female? And everybody I spoke with, a lot of professionals across the board, they're like, to be honest with you, it's complicated. I said, what's the complicated part? Number one, with academia, we're limited to a setting, obviously. With professional sports teams, we're limited to whoever wants to participate. That is a professional athlete. So it usually just gets, the pool gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And I was like, now that my wife is also, we're both the same age, she's just like going through menopause and what have you. But she was a professional athlete at her time too, when she was younger. So her dynamic is different. And we're realizing that a lot of the female former professional athletes that I'm talking to now, they're just different. And it's okay, you guys are definitely different. It's not the norm of the average for their age. But then I started asking more questions. Where's the more data on this? Like, how does it work for menstruation? How does it work for pregnancy, pre, during, and post? And there's no data for that. So 3 months ago, I was just like, why don't we launch a whole FemTech division and focus on VO2 for women and across multiple ages, so we can start building out that data set of how it works, because now we can.
But once, it's important to be able to know where you are relative to your neighbors. But more importantly, you need to know where you are, and what you're doing is improving this. Because
100%.
as we've said, exercise is the only thing that we've proven to be associated with longevity across the board.
Yes.
And 77% of Americans do not exercise.
Sadly. True.
Is it really that high?
Yeah. And I think that's being generous.
Yeah. I'm quoting Peter.
Yeah, he's being generous. Yeah.
And but getting that number yourself, when you know that the consequences of not doing this. I hate exercising, honestly. I'd love to play sports, but I'm a little beyond most of that now.
Yeah.
But I know that I need to exercise. I know that's good for me. That's going to give me more longevity. May not be longevity in what everybody else wants, but it's going to help me.
Yes.
And it helps me intellectually, it helps my brain, it helps my body. And at the end of the day, I can say, okay, I'm glad I exercised, but I didn't like going to do it. But it gives us a way of measuring it that is not just by looking in the mirror and seeing how you look. This is a true, accurate measurement of my ability to use oxygen. It does sound complicated because it's the number of cc's per kilogram of weight per minute that your body can utilize. And when you push that exercise, your body gets to a point where it's losing. It's losing the battle. You start off slow, as you said, with the test. You develop it. You exercise. You push harder when you maximal effort. But once you get beyond that point, your body can't do it anymore. And that's the point that you're getting at. That's where you know where you want to be, or at least what the goal should be. And it decreases with age significantly. It's really age related. And we like to know how we compare to other people. But without the data that you're getting, that's a hard question to answer. And so we have to look at it just from initially just a personal point of view of how's this helping me.
Oh, 100%.
So
Also, go ahead.
No, just to add a quick point then to your question but also making that data simple. Look, as a society, we want, especially now I'm guilty. Social media has made me ADD. So it's, okay, that's my number. How do I improve it?
It's your baseline.
What do I want to do? Yes.
Like you have your baseline.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you take it from there. Duncan's a great example of someone who has, in the last few years since we've been doing the podcast, you have implemented everything for longevity that we've discussed on this
Mm-hmm.
podcast. I think, have you had 2 or 3 VO Max?
No, I've only had.
Oh, you only have
I've
one?
had one. I had one 20 years ago, and I had
Okay.
one recently.
Recently? Okay. I thought you had another one.
But-
But he's done the full DEXA body scan. He's, in the last few years, started an exercise routine, which he never had before. But it's not extreme. It's just a few days a week. And he has transformed. Sorry, I'm just going to talk about
That's
you.
great.
You have transformed your body doing these things.
That's your wife speaking. So
It's
that's
not.
a good thing.
It's not
She
extreme in
hasn't
any
told me
way.
that before.
It's not extreme in any way. And
Yeah.
he'll say, I'm going to go exercise. He has to announce it, I think, just so I'll hold him accountable. It takes him about an hour to get to where he is really exercising, because he will
Procrastinate.
find a million other things to do
Yeah, no, we all do.
before he will exercise.
So going back to that, 77% people don't exercise. The stats show that for somebody who goes from no exercise to doing 90 minutes a week, increases their longevity on average by 14 years.
100%.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, but I have people, our friends, like Mark and Shannon. What does Duncan do? How does he look? People ask me this question. My sister met us at a pool a few weeks ago, and what is Duncan doing? Like, how is he looking this good? And I'm like,
This is all news to me.
That's good. That's good.
You know,
See, people
he
are
walks
noticing.
the
People are
talk
noticing.
is
Yeah.
what he does. And I don't know if his patients realize
Yeah.
he's doing everything he's telling them to do. If it's to see Dr. Dennis Hughes or to work with Wearable or to implement VO2, it's because it's working for him.
And that's really, I think that's a perfect example in the sense that I think exercise is relative. A lot of people think exercise, just like you thought VO2, it's, oh my God, that's just like your mind is already like blocking you from wanting to do it. But which we'll do, maybe next week, let's set up a day.
No.
Welcome here. We'll do it, both of you. And you're going to, and we're going to start you out with the baby step. And you'll be like, oh, this is it. And you're going to want to do more. Let's start there. And then a week later, we'll do the medium. And you'll be like, oh my God. Once you break that barrier you created for yourself, because again, stigma or what have you. But even with exercise, like I don't go to the gym. I don't go to the gym. I hate going to the gym, to be honest with you. It's like going golfing.
We don't go to the gym either.
Okay, yeah.
We have a little area in our home.
That's exactly it. So I do my thing. I figured out my thing that I wanted to do that works for me. And then sometimes I'll go on a bender and get drunk. And realize that last 2 to 3 days, I'm like, I can't do that anymore. It's just, as we get older, your body's just, you know what? Let's just cool down on all that stuff. So I've shifted everything I've done. But I tell people it's really what you need to start with what's easy for you. If it's just going around the block 2 or 3 times, start there.
Yeah,
Make that a
absolutely.
habit. We've got Santa Barbara is awesome. We've got so many hills.
Our backyard,
Stay up.
amazing, meaning where we live.
Yeah, then we got the ocean. Sometimes I just go find the deep sand area, and I spend 20 minutes just doing stretching and little things just because, as you can appreciate, deep sand running and stuff is just a lot more intense.
God, yes.
But I didn't pay for that. It's the beach. I just found a deep sandy area, and I know my things to do there. So it's really, what is it you want to do? And I'm at the ocean. I'm staring at the ocean doing this. How
really.
bad is
That's
that,
not
really?
bad.
It's just like, that's a horrible thing to do.
Yeah.
But you find what works for you. You find where you want to be. And because I've been doing this for 3.5 years, it took me wanting to but now I'm set in such a habit, and I got to drink my own Kool-Aid. If I'm going to be promoting this, I got to drink my own Kool-Aid and kind of show how it works and see my numbers and everything. But I tell people, just start with something that's easy for you. And then we just got a dog, by the way. We just got a dog Saturday. My daughter was traveling across the world, and she adopted a dog on the way. And I was like, oh my God, but then it's family now. So this morning was our first test where I'm like, okay.
Gotta walk the dog.
I was like
Keep you
6:45, and I was like,
Yeah.
but then I went for the walk, and I was like, okay, this is actually a new exercise for me. And it's a Belgian Malinois, which is like super hyperactive. And I was just like, okay, but this morning I got back and my wife was laughing. She's, welcome to your new life. I was like, yes, it's a dog. It's
throw on a weighted vest.
It's funny. I just thought of that today. I was like, I should probably throw on a weighted vest just to add to that. But so, for example, with my VO2, I've trained to breathe. So I'm really good at sucking in air. I can really take that deep breath in. And it's from my diaphragm, not from my chest. There's a difference. You learn how to do that. So my lungs are really good at doing that. I'm really good at, and I still could do more, but I'm really good at breathing in. Now my heart's, okay, cool. You know how to take in fuel. So I'm getting ready to pump it out. But then my muscle mass is, you need to build more muscle mass because you're just leaving a lot of fuel in the tank. So I've been working, and majority of my muscle mass is my lower extremities because I sit so much and I travel so much and I drive so much. I can do the push-ups and things like that around, so I can build up my upper a little more easier than that. But so with me, I have to constantly build more muscle mass, which is harder because as we get older, it's you lose muscle mass. That's just the nature of the beast. That's where muscles just atrophy, and then obviously the bone density decreases. So I constantly have to build muscle mass because breathing's great, but if I can't use it properly, it's whatever. And then sometimes I go overboard. I start do too much and I don't do weights really. I should get some weights though. I do more just natural stuff like pull-ups and squats and go to the sand and things like that. But my friends, you're getting older, so you should actually get weights.
I don't know. I feel two different ways about that. A lot of people get injured with weight.
Yeah, you definitely need to know how to use it. What I tell people is I'm not going to go bench 400 pounds. That's not what I do. I just want to be able to be stronger. Like I hang on the pull-up bar for a bit longer than I should just to build the muscles, my hand strength. When I go to the beach and do the sand exercises, I really do it for dexterity because as we get older, what's the number one thing that everybody does is they get slower and they trip and they fall and they don't know how to catch themselves. And that leads to everything else as you get older.
Balance.
Yeah, so I'm working on that. But I'm not going to go buy like 500 pounds weights. I'm just like going to 25, 35 pound weights and add that to my routine and kind of things like that. So but again, that's for me. So I tell people, what works for you? You should figure out what works for you. What works for you? You should figure out what works for you. And that's where I'm loving where everything is moving. So I've been in the tech scene 20 plus years. And I remember when it all started, it was always based on, you're going to be able to use technology to refine how you want your life. And it's taken a while, but I think we're finally there with all these wearables and like with what we're doing with VO2 is, I can finally tailor my health to me because I'm getting these data points and I've got these devices and I can start monitoring me and I can work on my diet, nutrition, and so forth. That I think that's where finally, I noticed that a lot with the 30 and 40-year-olds. Because they grew up with wearables and they grew up with everything. That's just their life. They are really using technology to refine their health in a whole different way that I wish I could have 20 plus years ago. So that younger generation, my kids who are both 21 and 17 respectively, they're learning how to use it at a whole different level in their nutrition. I'm like, okay, finally it's there where this next generation is learning how to finally use technology for them.
We have another little podcast we do with Turner and two other physicians. And one of the topics that I have on the list to talk about is the pros and cons of wearables and how they can work and actually not work because you become a little obsessed with it.
Yes.
Sleep being the number one thing. Like when you're wearing something to check sleep, but you're obsessed with what your sleep is, so you're not sleeping checking because you're checking your sleep.
Yeah.
But so I've never really done a wearable. I have an Apple Watch. It just sits. I know he's shaking his head. Yeah. And then I got it for sleep, but that's what I found, that I was awake all night because I was wondering if I was sleeping.
Yeah. No, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. I don't wear wearables, to be honest. I still go analog. I've been wearing my calculator watch. Remember these back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
My daughter's got it for me for Christmas. So I'm like, yeah.
But Duncan wears a monitor for his blood sugar. You do a sleep ring thingy from Heel, who was on the podcast.
Empower Sleep.
Yeah, Empower Sleep. And you do wear your Apple Watch when you're working out.
Right.
So you're doing way more with that than I
I'm not obsessed with it though.
That's nice to have.
You're not. You are obsessed with the monitor on your arm.
Yeah, and I'm obsessed by checking the cricket scores and so on.
Yes, that's right. British sports, very obsessive.
Cricket, yeah, I still can't get that. But I've heard they've lowered it from 100 days to 20 days or something. That's funny.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Yeah, we won't go there on this podcast. No,
yes, go ahead. You say that you realized that you were dyslexic.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us about that a little bit and how you dealt with it.
Dyslexic, again, in the 70s and 80s, that was nobody even knew. I don't even if people knew what it was. I didn't know what it was. I just always had a hard time learning. Everything took longer. But when I was a kid, I would be like, oh, at least I know it. And I grew up with the standardized tests. Everything's A, B, C. You fill in the bubbles. Everything was timed. And I just can't work in that environment. I need time to learn. So anyway, I got through grade school until my junior in high school. I'll forget this. Remember when the military used to go to the high school campuses your junior year and do the whole we're going to recruit type of thing? Yes. I don't know if they still do that, but that was just so common. I took the SAT because you take the SAT 2 weeks before and then the recruiters would come. That was the whole thing because then they would have your scores. And then depending on which branch you spoke with, they would see where you're at. So I always say, I'm not going Navy, definitely not going to Air Force, definitely not going Army maybe, but then when like the Marines, they'll take anybody. It's a grunt service and what have you. So I go to the Marine recruiter. I'm like, so what's going on? He's, what's your name? He looks at the thing and he's, oh, what's your social security number? It's like, oh, okay, that is you. You know what? You should probably look at going into a trade. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you should maybe, I don't know if the military's for you. You should look at, you can be a mechanic, you can be all these whatever. And he's like, you should really go to a trade school. That's probably going to be the best fit for you. And I was like, what are you talking about? You only got a 700 on your SAT, which is basically writing your name. I'm like, oh yeah, I bomb every test. Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, I don't know if the military's for him. I'm like, you're the Marines. You just throw people in the front line. It's not like you've got this big thing. Yeah. You're going to teach me how to shoot a gun and take orders and then throw me in the front line. That's what you do. Like, yeah, no, we're trying to get more skilled people. So I was just like, oh my God, not even the Marines would take me. So I was really bummed. And I actually started getting a bad attitude. But Mr. James, there's always that one. Mr. James, I'll never forget. And sadly, he passed away years ago, I found out. But he was so amazing. He was my geometry teacher. Super nice guy. But still didn't know what dyslexia was. None of us knew. But at the end of the day, he saw that he's like, you're having what's going on? You're not yourself. So I told him the story. He's like, yeah, that's a tough one. So he said, look, do me a favor, come after school every day for 20, 30 minutes. I want to do a series of tests on you. And he's like, I think I know what's wrong. I was like, okay, great. So we did that whole process. At the end of the week, he's okay, yeah, you're going to bomb every test. That's just not how you learn. He's like, you're a visual learner. You take a long time to learn. He's like, but it's obvious that you know your stuff because we went through a bunch of tests. And he's, look, kid, this system is not made up for people like you. You're not the only one. There's a lot of people like you. But when it's all said and done, you're a good kid. We like you. The teachers like you. We're going to pass you with a C-. We're just going to get you through. And I need you to go to community college. I'm a huge fan of community colleges, by the way. Love them. Mm-hmm. Because of them, I get to where I'm at. So I went to Mount Centennial College there in the area. He's like, you're going to graduate. We're going to pass you with a C- because that's what you'll need. And then I want you to go meet my friend who's a counselor there. He's going to be your counselor. So we did, graduated, and then he sat me down. We sat down with the counselor. He's like, okay, I need you to just go straight into the fall. Like, you can't lose rhythm here. But we sat a week after high school graduation, we all sat down, 3 of us, and they were like, look, the truth is you have to start over. You were so far behind, and it's going to be very complicated for you. And Mr. James, I'll never forget this. He looked at me. He's like, look, kid, you have 2 paths, and they're both super hard. And you're either just going to be mad and just go work and just survive and struggle, and it's going to be a horrible life for you. Because for you especially, because you're going to be frustrated that you're smart and you can't get ahead. So it's going to be really bad for you. Or you can start all over again, and it's going to be really hard for you. But this window of being really hard for you to go through an education, go through college and everything, that window is going to be so small compared to your life. So you got to choose right now which hard path you're going to go through. And I was like, oh, this. And then once it clicked, and once I realized I didn't have to do the standardized testing and I could learn on my own. Oh, I ended up with 3.9 at community college. I ended up getting grants and everything to UC Santa Barbara. So I became a poli-sci major. I didn't even know what a poli-sci was. My counselor was like, you're just good at this. They have degrees in it. Just get that degree and get the hell and go to work. I'm like, awesome. So we did that. And then my whole thing started. But what I was realizing as I was getting older, I just was like, gosh, it still takes me time to learn things. I graduated and everything. But what I realized is I moved to New York City, had an amazing career in advertising, worked for the big agencies. And then from there, I had an amazing career in pharmaceuticals. I worked for Eli Lilly in their neuroscience division, that whole process.
So what's the next step with FemTech?
So this is great. So we're launching our first FemTech mixer in Las Vegas on Thursday. We have amazing speakers. It's all women, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I built a team of women physicians that are going to be a part of this as well. And now we've got partnerships with a few major organizations. I'm not allowed to say their name yet, but in Las Vegas, I'm going to say sports organizations in Las Vegas. And I've been able to convince a lot of the women there, be like, hey, look, we want to launch the X2L Bio Las Vegas FemTech Hub out of Las Vegas. And what does that mean? So we're going to starting with VO2 Max for women, because we don't know what it is for women. We have data points here, but we really don't know.
Not a lot.
So why don't we start a hub, because we are a business, so people pay us for a VO2, so we can start building that data set. UNLV, their kinesiology department, their Sports Innovation Institute, and other universities are going to work in parallel with us to start building out a whole data set so they can do IRBs and what have you. But I said, we've got the next 5 years where we can start building this set and start understanding how VO2 max affects women across all the ages, regardless if they're athletes or not, which is fantastic. Now, what's cool is got to meet the Secretary of State of Nevada recently, gave him my vision. This is awesome. You definitely should do it, and we'll see how we can help you along the way. The city of Las Vegas is excited to help me along the way. We're getting a few influential people who work for the sports organizations there as well, all women. So I'm just behind the scenes, and I'm putting women in front to lead this whole FemTech division. So it can be women-led, setting it all up. Starting with VO2, it is a thing. We still don't know how it affects women across the board. So let's learn along the way. So for us, it's exciting because we get to build a business, which is what we are. We are entrepreneurs. But now at the same time, we get to work in parallel and see how it benefits women. And the timing is everything, as you appreciate. Women's sports is finally a business.
Yeah.
It never has been a business. It is finally a business. And as we know in this country, when something's a business, it just gains traction, right? So at the end of the day, women's sports are a business. The halo effect is the fact that there's now things for women's longevity, things for women's mental health, things for women's physical health. There's all these things that are women's X health, what have you. So I'm just like, in that case, let's do VO2 for women. And let's have a starting point. So that's where we're starting. Eventually, will add other things like HRV for women, or whatever the next thing.
What are we?
Heart rate variability.
Okay.
Basically, the gap, how your heart beats, the little gap between your. Again, another complicated thing that I won't digress on. But at the end of the day, again, it can also be taken care of just holistically, just like VO2 can be holistically: exercise, nutrition, sleep, etc. So that's really where we're going with it, is like, how do we take all these quote unquote cool things that are coming out? How do we refine it for women? And we're not forgetting the men, by the way. I just realized as a business, there's a tremendous opportunity for FemTech to build it all.
That's great. That's very exciting.
Are you looking for people to sign in into the testing routine?
Yes.
They're your clients?
Yeah, so we've
looking
got
for clients, or you're looking for scientists at this point, or both?
Clients mainly. We've got enough on I've been fortunate because of the relationships I built over the years, especially when I was traveling in with the previous company doing the VO2. We have a lot of my co-founders and investors are physicians. So I've got everything from concierge to what have you. So because we were working with a lot of hospitals, I built amazing physician contacts. So it's $280. We do one assessment per month. And through that process, we give you a report. And during that report, we help you understand how to take those incremental steps to improve your VO2. And ideally, obviously, for us, that they do 2 or 3, 4-month packages a year, just as their thing. So that's our initial business model as we're setting it all
And
up.
does that need to be in Vegas?
Oh no, we're gonna launch a smaller setup here in Santa Barbara in November. We're gonna introduce it here in Santa Barbara.
Right.
So we're trying to get the whole doing before the end of the Christmas, because everybody has the New Year's resolution of wanting to get healthy. So hopefully that we can promote that, moving it forward. So that's what we're doing. But the reason we're starting in Vegas just because I was able to build a nice community there. I'm learning how to educate the masses. So it's been a perfect testing ground for me as a startup company I made a lot of mistakes and more to come, but it's helped me refine our business model, helped me refine the messaging, helped me refine the community, and it helped me refine, we can do this FemTech thing here and roll it out. And the traction around it has been pretty amazing.
I bet.
Yeah. It's, as we know, women just love community. And if you love something, you're going to tell 10 of your friends.
Yes, it's true.
We're all going to be like, hey, I'm doing this. I may tell Duncan, I may not. He didn't even share he was working out. So there you go. That's a different dynamic between men and women. Whereas you'd be like, I'm doing this and I'm trying this product and I love it. And you text all your friends and let me try it. So from a business PR perspective, that's helped us a lot. The amazing women that we have speaking at this event Thursday is pretty cool.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
It's Thursday. It's 5 p.m., isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Vegas.
8,
It's from 5 to 8 p.m. My friend who's opening up a new fitness facility is letting us his space. But I've got a great old friend coming from Seattle. She is amazing. She's going to be our keynote speaker. I've got some amazing women that are former athletes and work with a lot of the biggest organizations and universities in Las Vegas there. Some of our physician doctors female doctors that are come on board. We are working with, I can say this, 7 professional cheerleaders in Las Vegas who are cheerleaders. I'm trying to make sure I don't get sued. Who are cheerleaders for a professional football team in Las Vegas. Uh-huh. I can say that.
Okay.
I think that narrows it down to what Las Vegas has. Yeah. I've been working closely with this group. So we got 7 of these young women that are going to participate in our VO2 for Max. So we're going to be, for the next 6 months, giving them assessment 1 per month and testing different protocols for them as well, which is really cool. So those are the kind of relationships that we're going to build as a company within the Vegas community. Yeah. They're really amazing people. Then together we can do one here in Santa Barbara. Yeah, I think it's going to be, and we're just getting started. Again, go back to what is now the business of female sports or female health and fitness is we got a 10-year runway before it caps off because there's so much we don't know yet because it's finally a business. And like any business, you start it and then it starts evolving into whatever it's going to be. So that's why I'm taking advantage of that momentum and the relationships we're gaining now across multiple corporate former athletes, current athletes that are playing at the highest level or played at the highest level, that they're like, hey, this is actually a good idea.
Great.
Really great podcast.
This was so much. You guys are great by the way. You make it such a fun vibe. It's not work.
Well, what we'll do is when we do the test, the
VO2 Max.
The VO2 Max.
Yes.
We'll get some social media. We'll get some more content.
Yes.
About it.
Okay.
Yeah. So to be continued.
To be continued. Awesome.
Great. Well, thanks for listening. We're getting really good feedback. We'd really appreciate a review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. Thank you. You can always DM the Vagina Doctor Instagram with any questions or topics you'd like to learn more about, or email us. The Vagina Doctor Podcast. It all starts here.